Well, one of the big things that I think is important is that as Black men, we serve as fathers, mentors, leaders and role models, coaches. And so, as leaders, we have the ability to spark change. We have that platform. And so, I feel like speaking out against abuse, harmful stereotypes, as I talked about with the hip hop music and the lyrics, teaching respect, teaching about consent, conflict resolution, creating safer families, stronger communities. I believe that it's critical. It's not just, and my thing is, it's not just a women's issue. It's a collective responsibility. It's a community issue. And so to me, it's important that Black men are not only supporting, but we are at the forefront of helping to end violence against Black women and girls, because this can't be achieved without protecting and supporting Black women and girls. And oftentimes it's very clear to me that they are forgotten. And what's interesting about this, Drew, is also with Black women and mothers, they are often the rock of a lot of families. Particularly, I work with people who are justice impacted, and the father is not even in the home. It's the mom that's the rock, that has to serve as the mom and the dad, the grandma. I correspond with a lot of women, and they really are the rock of keeping families together and protecting families. But I don't feel like they're being protected. And so to me, it is a responsibility for us as Black men. We need to be on the forefront, in front of them, not just alongside them, but in front of them, about, talking about and ending this cycle of violence and abuse. I grew up listening to all types of music, but some of the music that I gravitated to was hip hop music. And you listen to the lyrics, and oftentimes you recite them. But when I was younger, I didn't really realize what I was actually reciting. And then looking at some of the music videos, and as I got older and really got to get into the space of working in this particular space and understanding what domestic violence is, and respect, and how we treat women, I realized that everything that I was listening to, a lot of what I saw in these music videos or these lyrics, it was degrading. It was degrading women. And so really being aware of, like, wait a minute, I don't stand for that. Why am I'm reciting things that I don't understand, or I'm looking at music videos and it's right in my face, and I was not paying attention to it. So I think the big thing for me was being more aware of it first, and then taking my own personal stance against not looking at those things, not supporting, not buying people's music, having these conversations when people are talking about hip hop artists and the music videos and lyrics, bringing up the topic and asking people questions on what are your thoughts about that. So I think for me, it was really awareness, and then bringing that awareness to other people who were in the same lane as I was, and asking these hard questions about, is this really what we want to be promoting and looking at and supporting? I was at the Juvenile Intervention Center last week talking to a group of young Black boys, and everybody in there is in there for a violent offense. And unfortunately for some of them, they're going to be spending some time in the criminal justice system, and some are going to be charged as adults. And when you look at their criminal history, a lot of that is laced with all types of violence and domestic violence. But what has been very interesting, but not surprising, is that while these men have been perpetrators, they have also been victims. They've seen things growing up where they were in a home where domestic violence, battery, hitting and assaulting women, it was normal. It was what they saw. Speaking to and working with people in prison who are in prison for domestic violence and a murder against a significant other, I actually had a conversation with an individual who wrote me, and he said, you know what, it wasn't until I had time to sit down and think about it that this family history of substance abuse, trauma, it's been in my family for generations. And so for me, it's really confronting these cycles of trauma, unhealthy definitions of masculinity, poverty, substance abuse. We need to confront those things, and particularly in the Black community, as you know all too well, when we talk about these things, there's a stigma associated around it, so we don't talk about it. We don't confront it until, unfortunately, something happens, and then we get sent into the criminal justice system, and the cycle just continues and continues. And so really, we need to confront it. We need to talk about it. What I would say is, when we think about respect and what we think about masculinity, oftentimes on what we see on social media, on TV and music, is not really representative of what it means to be a man and being supportive, right? Um, Real men cry. They show emotions. Real men apologize. Real men know how to manage their emotions. Real men know how to manage conflicts and lead and not react. Real men understand the importance of standing in front of and not alongside, and really standing out against a lot of the issues that we see in our community. And so for me, it's more encouraging men to, and boys to, when they see these things, because it's not going away. Social media is not going away. TV is not going away. But when you see these incidents of domestic violence, or these cycles of abuse, or you're listening to lyrics, start to critically think and analyze, is this something that I really want to promote? Especially if you have a daughter, a mom, a sister. Imagine that that's them. And what are your thoughts and feelings about that if you put people that you love who are women into those positions? So really just challenging men and boys to kind of really critically think about the things that they see, hear, and listen to. I have taken the pledge to end domestic violence in our community. Have you taken the pledge?